When did you think was the opportunity that you had to eventually escape?
It was a miracle. If you read my book for, months, I was praying for help. I didn't know, I didn't know who to call for help. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know where to go. All I knew to do was to pray. And that was strengthening me gradually inside. And I was just hoping that miracle will happen. And it happened in a way that I was not expecting, because when he called police on me, one of the things I said was, God, I want to escape. Is this how to escape? You want to send me to jail? Is that how you're going to save me from this misery?
You said he called the police. Why?
Okay, we had an argument over the issue of phone. And before I knew what was happening, he had called police. I didn't even know that he called police. It was a taxi driver that made me know that he called the police. And, at that point, I wasn't grateful for the police call because I was scared to death. But luckily, because another customer came and told me to call my doctor. And I told her I don't have a doctor. And she said, you had your baby here. And I said, I don't have a doctor, but I have a nurse. She said, call her. And I did. And I was glad I did, because that nurse came. And when she came, I remember that afternoon, after telling her my story for the first time, she said, I knew something wasn't right, but I couldn't place my hand. And that's another thing. Like, when it seems something is odd, we need to start paying more attention. And she brought out an orange card from her bag and underlined, it's contained like resources in the county, and underlined Alexandra House. Alexandra House is a battered women's shelter. So she asked me to call, and I called, and they asked me to come in. So now coming in had to be planned. I was planning, like, when he's sleeping, I would just carry my baby's diaper bag, and I'd been told to get our documents. So I went to ransack the house to get all our documents. Yes. So, and while I was doing that, somebody just called and said, Bukola, do you need a ride? And I said yes. And she came to pick us, not knowing that she was picking us to escape. And when she dropped us off, I just called the bus line, and we went to the shelter on October 16, 2007. And it was at that shelter that I started getting all kinds of help, because one organization cannot do it alone. It's a lot of services that a victim needs. It can be overwhelming. It took a long process, because, of course, the court got involved, the sheriff got involved, a detective got involved, and it was a long process. But in all, I'm grateful to God today that I didn't only go through that, but now I see that I went through it for a purpose, and that's the purpose I'm fulfilling now, to help others and also advocate for prevention.
Did your family ever know what was happening to you, what you were going through? Did they have any idea?
They didn't know. I didn't tell them, because, like, if you want to call US from here now, you collect somebody's number, you just punch in the number. If somebody from the US wants to call you, they will first of all add all kinds of numbers in front before adding your own number. So, and you can't just use your local phone to call directly. Otherwise, the bill that will come to you can send you somewhere else. So you have to buy phone cards. It's kind of a rigid process. So it was hard even getting phone cards to call home. Clients were the ones helping me. Sometimes they will give me phone cards. Sometimes when I chat with them when braiding, I don't say a lot, but some of them suspected something wasn't right, and they will give me phone cards. And even when I call home, I don't tell them anything. And because I heard my father was sick and that he was seriously ill, I couldn't be calling my father to be telling him what was going on. He was already miserable on the sick bed and was bedridden. But when we got to the court and his family called him, as family matter, he called me to ask what was going on. And at that time, I was already at the shelter. And I told him a little bit of what was going on and told him that I will be fine. And today I'm grateful to God that when I wrote my book, my father was already dead. Because if he had not, I would have thought that my story killed him. Unfortunately, the court is always looking for the marks on your body, but the marks that is here is there for a very, very long time. Even though you heal, you know, you still tear up, and that is just part of the process. Now, I don't hurt. My tears are not tears of hurting, but I can say that I'm grateful to God that I have a second chance. For me, this is a second chance to live.
Your husband, you said right now, he walks freely in the United States. You didn't press any charges, you didn't report to the police. How does that affect you, that nothing has been done to him? He's not paying for any crimes that he committed?
Unfortunately, that is another gap in the system, because when only one victim is involved, they would rather work on rescue and help the victim instead of pursuing this, you know, one case and one person. Because really, you know, everybody is complaining about not enough human resources, not enough money, not enough this, not enough that. There are so many cases that they have to be pursuing. So if there's just one victim involved, they just work on, okay, let's help the victim and bring this person back to life, than going after this one person. And seriously, with prosecution, human trafficking is still hard to prosecute. Go and look at all the prosecutions. They don't just use human trafficking to prosecute. They have to add other things, rape, this, theft, and all kinds of stuff, you know, to be able to prosecute that person. But if what you have is just human trafficking or just domestic abuse with it, and when there is no police documentation, it makes it hard. All they could do was advise me to go seek mental health for my health.
And how much comfort does it give you now that you're an advocate? You're also helping other people get through the same situations that you have been through, and you're seeing results.
That's my payment. That's my payment. The reason I said that's my payment is because even though as the executive director of Anyton Story, it's just a title, you know, I don't even get paid salary as the executive director. My goal is the work and rescue. And I remember during my therapy sessions, I told my therapist that if only one person is saved, then I will know that I've fulfilled my mission. And I'm glad today that more than one person has been helped. And it even gives me more joy that I've always also worked with men. And I try to let people know that it's not just women and girls, but there are men and there are also boys. We think, oh, women are macho men, you know, they have ego, this cannot happen to a man. And you heard the comments that somebody, well, whatever was it that the person said, a man kneeling down, you know, but that happens because when you are isolated, it's like, you know, a prey growing after the target. You will first of all like isolate that target in order to catch.
Do you think you will ever get married?
Well, man proposes, but God disposes. If marriage comes, fine. If it doesn't, I'm a diva now. I can't, you know, just trust like I did before anymore. And, you know, I've healed, so, and I've been into a relationship. So now I pay more attention, unlike before, where I just trust. Now I don't trust like that anymore. So if a man has to be with me, the man has to put up with a diva. Plus, you know, now I have a new status. I'm a single mother. I'm not a single lady. So, and I'm happy that this guy wrote the book, Act Like a Lady but Think Like a Man. I read that book. I bought my own copy. And, you know, my son, the person has to pass his test too to be with me, because I come with a package. Like I said, I'm not a single lady, I'm a single mom, and I know my identity. And I don't want to be abused anymore. I don't want my son to be abused. We've gone through too much. He went through a lot as a newborn, and we don't want to repeat that kind of life again.
This is where we end the program today. Thanks for staying with us, but don't keep your thoughts to yourself. Share them with us. The addresses are right on your screen. I am Amarachi Obani. I'll see you next time.